And then we're going to get this party started. You
That
guys
would be
feel in
good.
comfortable clothing? You have some creative stuff? You brought your pillow? Okay, so let's get this started. So we've already started. I mean, we've already started. So we have the beautiful Salina and Eline here. And wow, I don't know even what to say. There's no words to just honoring you guys for being here and just allowing your creative flow in your journey, and sharing that with others and bringing them into your space of creativity, allowing them to draw from you guys and allowing them to tap into a new creative realm for themselves. So thank you guys. So I'm just going to share a little bit. Selena is a performing artist, director, and producer who has worked on Broadway, in film, television, and voiceover since her early 20s. Her education in her crafts are extensive and ongoing. She home educates her two artist athlete kids who have just reached their 20s. This brings her into a whole new chapter of life, and she's excited to begin writing some of the projects that have been on her heart for many years. Eline is a visual artist from the Netherlands. She completed a bachelor's of fine art design in education at Eline has been based in Colombo, Sri Lanka since 2014, where she encountered a life-changing, altering experience that ignited her into a newness of life, guiding her into a reality beyond the natural and the meta-awareness of witnessing and being. Rooted in abstract expression, Eline's large-scale paintings appear to be in a state of flux. She's an artist that draws from every present transformational journeys, seeking the no thing that creates all things. She's both graphic design and she also does these amazing abstract pieces. You can see it like behind her. So um, we're gonna jump in. Do you guys want to say something? Add something?
Just happy to be here. Hi.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming to the adventure.
True, such an adventure.
Thank you, Tanya, for doing this.
Oh, you're so
It's been
welcome.
very expansive for me these last couple of days. So thank you.
Yeah, we can probably say that. I think for all of us that engage as speakers in this space with this event, we felt stretched, right? We felt a new creativity, a new stretch, a newness within ourselves that we, as well as what we're trying to draw you guys in, we were experiencing the same thing. And I think that's really beautiful to understand that as creatives, that you guys are feeling right now, it's normal. You feel it all the time, but it's engaging the energy of that and making something beautiful. So, yeah, beautiful. All right, let's jump in. I have some questions for these beauties. Okay. So, were you always creative? Were you guys always creative, or did creativity come from a generational thing? Were you born with it? How did you guys discover that? Did you get up one day and say, I'm creative? What happened?
Yeah, actually, I've been thinking about this. I have bit of a gap. I can't remember too much of childhood for certain reasons, but one thing I keep remembering, we had this painting competition with the hair salon in my little village. And my mom really wanted me to win, right? Like my mom is very creative, but she never had the chance to express herself in the environment where she grew up. And my father thinks very creatively and making solutions with his hands. Like he's like a little inventor in his shack. But they both never got really the best, it's not pulled out of them. So that was really fostered at home. Like my mom forced us into creativity. Like we had to do all sorts of music instrument and we were allowed to explore everything. But I think it high school, it's where it really because that's where I could really be myself and didn't have to think too much, like with studying and all at a space of creativity. And I could I could voice things that were maybe not allowed to say in class with art. Yeah.
Mm. That's good. Yeah, I was always dancing to the dismay of my family. I'm the oldest of three, but my dad played honky tonk piano. He was he's a pro athlete, and then he became an attorney. There was no artists anywhere in my family, but I could not stop moving. So we didn't know what ADHD was back then, but I started that. And but yeah, I actually it was drawing, it was everything I could get my hands on to express because I didn't talk a lot. I do now, but I didn't then. And that's actually, it just kept expanding. So it went from dance to um, acting, and then you have to be able to sing on Broadway too. So I studied all of it, but I just kept falling in love with everything, especially Shakespeare, where I found words that were like excellent to express what was going on.
Love it. Yeah, I'll share a little bit about my journey as well. I did not I did not grow up in any sort of creative environment, not even in school. Like it wasn't really something that drama maybe. I was in drama in school. I loved theater, but creative, like drawing and painting, nothing like that. I had a great grandfather that used to be like he was a painter and he would paint the boats, the ships, and everything that he used to work on and in. And I didn't even realize that. So one morning, I wanted to become a theatrical art major, and my parents said no. So I thought the next best thing is be like my mom and do accounting. And I'm like, thank Lord, he didn't send me down that path. Um, so I just woke up one day and I said, I'm going to study art. There was no inkling whatsoever prior to that. And during my first year of study, I'm like, this is not for me. I'm bailing out. And I went to a youth camp, and then someone prophesied and said, that thing that you want to leave, don't.
Mm.
And I remained, and it was a hard journey to go through. And I can share more about that later. But at first, art or creativity was never, I was a quiet child. I was very drawn inwardly, but I'm also a middle child. I'll just leave it at that.
Perfect.
Okay, so your process, if you think about the process through your lives, um, were you part of the culture, or were you counterculture to art?
Um, I'll sum it up very quickly. I found I had to sneak out of the house to go to church. So I was a big rebel. I just loved Jesus my whole life. I didn't even know his name, basically. And so when I started going to church, the father figure pastor at the end, I had basically gotten a fax from God, go to New York and dance. And so I said, I'm going to go to New York and dance. And he was like, yeah, good Christian girls don't do that. But normally I would have been crushed, but I was like, you obviously didn't get the facts. So full on counterculture. And then I arrived in New York where Times Square was a very dark place. So I spent years walking around that city, praying over it, and completely protected by God. But even there, I was counterculture because I loved Jesus and my friends were gay, transvestite before that was a thing. Um, there was a lot of fun things going on in the 80s that I didn't know about. And when you were on tour, but and or everybody else was married. So I just had this, I just felt like I was a little desert flower poking out of the rocks. So that's it. What about you, Eileen?
Counterculture. But always a bit rebelling. But again, like the more we I've been preparing for this conference, and more gratefulness is coming out of my eyes for my parents because they were never fitted in properly into the norms of the little village we we grew up in. And like I was rebelling from a young age, and always seeking everything in other cultures and bringing it back. And like I started traveling alone when I was 16, going to countries in Africa, South America, bringing it back. Always wanted to go explore. And like, as in how much can you rebel as a teenager from like the goth time, and like going when I was 14, seeking out of the house or going to rock concerts. And but yeah, counterculture always up. I think that's why I ended up at WoW, right? In Sri Lanka. Like, oh yeah, not going fully with the norm.
I want to, while you guys are talking about rebel, anyone, all you guys in here, raise your hand if you feel like you're a little bit of a rebel. Raise your hand. Yeah, I see those hands.
One does.
Little bit of a rebel. Yeah, so good. Yeah, I think it comes with the territory of creativity because we're trying to push boundaries, right? In
Yeah.
art. I think in creativity, there's always this experience of what can go beyond this that I just know. Like what's more? What's more? That becomes the uh, rebel in.
Sound.
I see.
Yes. But you're breaking barriers. That's what pioneering spirit is.
Yeah,
Mm,
yeah, for
yeah,
sure.
love
Yeah,
that.
so good. Did you guys have any through this space of counterculture? Was there any shame in any time or a place where you feel like your art was freedom to you?
Who wants to go first? It's a long
Raise your
story.
hand.
Raise your hand.
Yeah, you go, Eline.
I don't know as much like shame as in going count. Like I studied art, right? I went to the university, HK University of Fine Arts, so studied fine art and design. Like I think in high school and all that, not so much shame in going. Like we were very confident, and Holland is a very liberal country, so it's not looked down upon, it's not frowned upon. I mean, it's super liberal. In When I was studying arts, one of my teachers, mentors, he said, um, everything you can think of has already been created. So create without thinking. And that I took from very much to heart. And that allowed me to create from a subconscious space on, I think, more an emotional level. And um, processing trauma, even traumas I didn't know I had. My art was extremely dark, Tanya. It was, and the same mentor at some point he said, Eline, how old are you? And I said, I'm 21. He said, someone from your age should not be able to make this art yet. And he was like, he actually go to psychologist, really, right? But that was most of our classmates. It's like I didn't experience shame then. I would be naked in front of the camera, and like I had basically no self-worth, so no shame, no boundaries, and but later, looking back, it took me a long time to accept what I made back then, and it took me a long time to
Wow.
be reignited into art. So I went, and I don't know if I should dive into it now or later, but the process of how I came back to a complete newness of art through the transformational journey I've undergone in Sri Lanka with finding God, spirituality, life, right, the void and everything. And it like long time I couldn't create art, and I think that's where the shame, because suddenly I felt naked. I was uncovered. Yeah.
Yeah. Did that feeling of being uncovered, the vulnerability of that, was that what made you pull back? that people
No,
see in you?
no, like so when I was in uni, I wanted to shock people. I just wanted to show how terrible the world is, basically, and especially when it came to sex, so to say very bluntly. So I like children were not allowed in my exhibition park, basically. And whoever wants to know more can really talk to me. I won't take up too much time about it. But like I think coming why like on the journey to self-worth, first self-loathe has to come out, and it
Yeah.
was all coming. And I think I actually only now, when I was talking a lot with Selena, I'm like, I couldn't look at my old art up to a few days ago. And I'm
Wow.
like, wow, I finally fully love the girl who I was back then. And that took for me a long time. But
That's
it's true. Not, yeah, it's a transformational, it's a continuous journey. Yeah.
that's gorgeous. Salina?
Oh yeah, basically I was just ashamed of being alive. So I think that's why I found the art. I literally experienced what I would now call mystical experiences, just dancing with hugging trees and singing to flowers. And so I found full acceptance in another realm and in nature. Um, and then I was good at things like dance. I was good at the arts, not the fine arts, the performing arts, in the sense that I was easily, I learned I was very teachable. And so I was pretty much ashamed of basically being alive, but I could find voice to my inner self and healing actually as I explored characters that I was playing, etc., and the dance and stuff. But um, it's always been a one avenue to in the arts or like being around horses. It's like one avenue to release or to find that come to terms with that little person that you don't. Yeah, same thing. It's the same thing as Eileen said. I just went about it a different way. But I also, when I had kids, I had a big wake up because I was told I couldn't have kids. So when I had kids, I was like the big wake up call of, oh, I can't even love them if I can't love myself. So jumped off the cliff, flying into self-healing and love. So yeah, what about you, Ton?
I think my story is a little different, almost backwards from Eline's, if I could say it like that. We grew up very conservative. I was very shy and very introverted. So coming into this realm of art where you can be whatever, really. I felt very out of place. I felt out of place in my family because I was so different from them. And here I come into a different world and I feel very alone and by myself and not really fitting in anywhere. So my journey in art was a lot about like, what am I trying to discover here? And um, coming from a conservative place to this place where, why are you thinking like that? Why are you doing it like that? Why did you make that dot blue? Why this? There was a lot of internal questioning, internal struggle going through within me.
Mm.
And it was really all good. Um, I failed my second year in art, just so everyone, like, I literally failed because I came up against this lecturer that was very sexist and I didn't like it. So rebel went up against this system and I failed. And at first it crushed me where I ended up being in front of a panel of 24 lecturers saying things to me like, you don't have a personality, you have deeper inner issues that you need to go and sort out. Like art isn't for you. And I don't know, but the power of the Lord was so strong on me at that point in time that I said, I'm not coming back to your institution. And they said, well, we want you to come back. And then I said, well, I'll come back, except I'm not in his class. Like I stopped painting. I didn't want to do painting at all. And after that, I had the best advice ever from, I'm going to cry because she's so dear to me, my drawing lecturer. And she was an atheist. And she said to me one day, she said, you have to stand up in your convictions, regardless of what other people say to you. Stand up in what you believe in. And she really took me through this journey in my second year, my second year. And at the end of that year, she said to me, I told you to be aggressive and not a bitch.
Wow.
But in that moment, I realized the power of my voice. So in all of us, I think the journey that we go through is not so much discovering who we're not, but who we are. And I think that's what my
Mm,
yeah.
mm,
Beautiful.
beautiful.
So yeah, that's a good one. Look, you guys made me cry. She passed away in my third year, that lecturer. So she's very dear
Wow.
to my heart.
Wow.
So why do you guys create? Why do you create? What makes it such a powerful thing?
I can, why do I create? So, like I said, I didn't create for a long time. And I remember there was, some of you may know Philip, who is like Philip the architect in Sri Lanka. And he has an aunt who is a very famous artist in Sweden and who came back to Sri Lanka. And she got to know I was an artist and not practicing. And she gave me my first brush in Sri Lanka, very, very, very like luxurious brush from pig hair, I think. And a very colorful color, pink, like luminous pink powder. She said, one day, sweetheart, you'll paint again and you paint as a new person. You paint completely anew. And I was like, yeah, whatever. I didn't touch it for years. And I used to, by the way, background, I used to make mostly installations and sculptures. So anyway, painting was not really my thing. And I started doing the corporate world, and like my now husband, then boyfriend, his father wanted to join me to join, and I tried so much, but I was not myself. I felt suffocated being in office, and I would sometimes end up crying in our Kirby's house. For those who, I think everyone on here must know Kirby. He's our church leader, pastor, prophet, and whom I'm teachable to. And he said, Eline, he said, you should drop everything and just pursue your art and become famous and start teaching. And I was like, no, but I honor what you say. So it took me a long time. But I started painting in secret. So I didn't tell anyone I was painting and I felt so free. But still, I couldn't fully be free because in my mind, like, oh, it's not good enough. Will people like this? Can I sell this? Right? No, people in Colombo won't like it's not good. So I didn't let it out. And then Mara, who's on this call and a beloved connection coach in Europe, I bought this 2 by 2 meters canvas. It's like 6.5 feet, I think. She said, sweetheart, why don't you just paint with God and don't show it to anyone? I said, okay, fine. And I started on it. I had fun. And then I had sorry, this is a bit long, guys. I'll try to do it
That's
fast.
great.
You're doing good.
So I got woken. I wasn't sleeping, but it was 2 o'clock in the night, and the spirit inside me prompted to paint. And that was the first time I painted in a dark room. I painted with my eyes closed. I wasn't particular about the colors. I was just grabbing what's there and I started moving on the canvas. And it was such a mystical experience. And that was the same time when Kirby started teaching about the void, about when we just started, it was, I think, during COVID, about the meditations and all. And when I was done, I was like, wow, right? Did I create this? Right? Did this come out of my body? And then there's a whole long testimony attached to that with a gallery in California, and won't go into that now. So that was my first like breakthrough to really started enjoying creating, but still the self-loathe was going on, right? Until I heard Roshit. He said on the pulpit as well, rest is freedom in imperfection. And that's when it hit me. I'm like, because I do graphic design, and with graphic design, I'm so extremely perfect up to the like micromillimeters. I have like full on control of perfectionism there, right? But I realize how perfect I try to be to the outward world, right? Through how people perceive me, everything I need to, I overthink before I speak, I would think 20 times what I would say, right? So living in fear of making mistakes. And I think that's why now, like, if you see my art, it's full on abstract, like it's fully let go of anything that can be called perfect. So why do I create now? Because I keep teaching myself to become like a child. I keep going into art to go beyond the realm of thinking, go beyond the realm of emotions, to come to absolute stillness and joy, really. Even not joy is like, oh, I'm laughing all the time. I can be upset and have a deadline and be full of offense. But when I paint, I just let go of everything. And it's not always, it's a process, but it's once you get there, you have to just let go. Can't be attached to what you may keep going over it and trust the process. It's like, and the more I do that, the more I start loving myself.
I
Yeah.
love that you're saying that you actually started loving yourself in the imperfection of your art, in the chaos of
Yeah.
your art. And
Yeah.
I,
Because
yeah,
that's so true. Sorry, I'm breaking you up there. Because that, like the realization that I hated my art, like suddenly I was like looking at my, I was like, of course I hate it. It's a mirror image in front of me. I can't stand myself. So how can I extend what I create, right? Like how can I stand it? And so yeah, sorry,
and
continue.
no, I was just saying that I think the thing is with art, we want it to look perfect before we show it to the world.
And
We
what is
want,
perfect? What is
yeah,
perfect?
in all our art, I'm not saying don't study in your art and become perfect in your skill, but we want this internal perfection when we approve our art before we would show it to the world. But most often, the world has received our creativity already long before we've received it, because in the
Mm,
eyes of what they're seeing, it's already perfect. So, in the
and
same way, you're saying loving myself is allowing me to just, whether it's a perfect piece or a chaotic piece, there will be something in it for someone to receive the perfection of that piece.
amen. Amen. And sorry, can I let you on one more thing there? Because like like I embrace that uh I'm I can be quietly chaotic. It's getting better now with the current series we're pushing on. But I embraced it fully to not
Yeah.
put it down. And sometimes I make paintings and like, I don't know. And I do a lot of commissions for people like they want the paintings. Like I'm so humbled and so in awe by it. They want it above there, mostly in the bedroom or in the living room. And like recently, like some like really elite people from Sri Lanka. They came to my studio first time in my new studio. I had made a painting for them, and he said Ford, and I wasn't fully sure, but I also felt like no, now's the time to show it to them. He was sitting 40 minutes, not exaggerated. He was just sitting and looking and not saying anything. So you can imagine how that feels like. And but suddenly, and I think this will be a good bridge to Salina, he started talking about it and he saw music. He saw a whole concert and he described the whole orchestra he was hearing from my painting. And I was like,
Wow.
wow, once you switch off your own mind and let your spirit, God's spirit, create through you, there will be something that surpasses all understanding that someone else needs, because you just being a tool for energy to come out, but
Yes.
will minister to someone else where we lack words.
So good.
Mm.
So
Yeah.
good. Selena.
Why do I create? Well, if I could say why, there wouldn't be a reason to do it. which is really, that's what Edward Hopper said. But I like what Rodin said. I really like his sculptures. He said, the main thing is to be moved, to love, to hope, to tremble, to live. That's why he creates. And I feel as though that your soul can see what your eyes can't see, and your spirit sees beyond that. And then as an artist, you bring that into an earthly realm. And I think too, Eline, I have had people see things that I didn't, I just brought it through. And then I've always, when I've taught or created, my goal is to, especially when I'm getting paid, is to inspire others to be their best self. Um, but it has nothing to do with Christian. It just has to do with truth. And for me, using the emotions that come through my creative acts is usually having to do with creating beauty out of ashes.
That's beautiful. How do you help others, Salina, to achieve that same understanding in themselves, creating beauty out of their own ashes?
I've had the privilege to work as an artist with or director with some people from many places in the world, and we all have pain. And the Kirby put it, the teachings from this pastor, Prophet Kirby Wow, where I go to church soon in person. He and a couple other mentors along the way have helped me crystallize the idea of what people from church would know as supererogation, but alchemizing pain into something beautiful. And I think as a mom, I understand it even more. And even I raising my brother and sister, I just kept pushing through the hard stuff, knowing something beautiful would come out of it. Like the idea of mining a diamond or like creating an aqueduct or something. You have to push through. I'm a mountain climber, so to get to the heights, it's going to take all your effort. And like for instance, climbing Mount Everest, and some other big peaks, when you have a guide, when you come as a group, the guides who are local usually will tell you, if you take that person, you guys might die. They're not up to it. So the idea of pushing through the hard things for the glory on the other side, so to speak, has just sort of been something I think I was given like a gift as a very young child. So I encourage people along the line to find the gratitude, to find the good, to enter into gratitude and to Thanksgiving, etc. And that's how I start. I actually have to pause. I think my doggy is going to have an accident. I'll be right back.
I I want to pull something here that you guys are talking about. Um, is that both of you guys, and I know in my own life as well, is that, and I think for me it probably was very unconscious at one point, and it became very conscious afterwards, is embracing chaos. I think from the space of religion, we're taught that we're not allowed to have chaos. You just need to have this perfect. You came to Jesus and now you're perfect, right? And that teaches the separation of being in a state of chaotic flow. But if we learn that that creates some energy for us to move through, and then we find the beauty of it, it's, are you willing to go through the chaos to find the light? And I think that's what this process about creativity is all about, is that all of us, we push through that. I keep getting this analogy of, when kids are 2 years old, people used to say, and they still do, but I don't say that, it's the terrible twos. I don't know if you guys have heard it, But the thing about the terrible twos, that's the point where their brains are learning to fire, and everything is very stimulating to them. And so they don't know how to handle it. But then you get to the teenage stage, right? And I think in our creative process, we all go through the state of toddler, teenage, but are we willing to go through all that hormonal, emotional fire of energy? And I think that's what you guys was sharing about today as well, is that you ended up embracing the chaotic nature that came with your realm, and you discovered what is through gratefulness, gratitude, love, acceptance. You accepted yourself, and in that, you found your identity as a creative. Now, that's just
Yeah,
something I'm pulling from what you guys are saying.
that's beautiful.
It's
Yeah. And also not even religion, I think society in general. It's just,
true.
especially now with social media. I don't know in America, but here in Sri Lanka, it's quite like you have to keep up quite an image when it comes to like the Colombo crowd, really. And I got stuck into it when I started dating my husband 7 years ago. It's all about seeing and
Yes.
see and being seen, and like how much diamonds do you have on your neck? And I had zero diamonds. I didn't have even an expensive dress at the time. And I know I would feel so uncomfortable. I don't even know why I'm bringing this up, but I'll just share it. I remember I was at this wedding. I feel fully vulnerable. Everyone is like in their biggest glam, and I just bought like a cotton neck dress because that's all I could afford at that time. And I go there and I in the Hilton, and I'm going to the washroom, crying a bit in the bathroom. I'm like, I'm going home. I'll tell Richie I'm sick. I don't need to be here, right? And I looked in the mirror, and I thought I asked the Holy Spirit. I said, just show me. And I heard, Eline, your biggest accessory is your smile. You just go out there and smile, like smile everyone out of there. Glitter. And that's what happened. And I have no clue why I'm sharing this, but maybe someone needs to hear it.
I
But
think
yeah,
in
society.
the society,
Yeah.
I think it's because we're trying to find a place where we belong.
Mm,
Even in art, even in creativity, we're trying to put ourselves in the box of belonging, either
mm,
in art, like either being a painter or a dancer or whatever that is. And then in the social circles, it flows over. And I think what we're trying to say is belong to yourself first, love
mm,
yourself first. And if you're in the space of this belonging in Christ, then your biggest smile breaks through all of the barriers that you're feeling inadequate and unworthy.
mm.
So good.
I love this chats. It's very nice.
Nina, you're still on mute if you didn't know. Okay, so this is a good question. What helps you push through if you have any creative blockage? Like, how do you go past your blockages? I think this is a good question for everyone.
I, mine's pretty easy. I go do something completely different. And I love what Jamie was saying yesterday. Was it yesterday? My
Day
day's
before.
blurred. I play. I have to go play. I get too serious especially on deadlines. I get creativity for me going into exploration. Creativity just leads to more, and it just never ends, which is
Mhm.
why I'm a little confused as to why my knees aren't working, because I have so much more to create. So play is my biggest thing, or going doing something exactly like what Jamie said, go wash the dishes, but I put a timer on so I don't go get distracted one thing after another. I time it, and then I come back in. So it's a kind of an intentional distraction to a different part of the brain, and intentionally coming back in and just going, like kind of like climbing a mountain. Just got to keep going.
Yeah. Yeah. But so there has been moments where I did paintings that a client didn't like. And what do I, so one thing that I learned in uni, which I really love, is kill your darlings. Kill your darlings. So whenever you make something you finally beautiful yourself, kill it, go over it. It doesn't exist anymore because it stretches you and it teaches you not to be attached, right? And there's always more. So what I do sometimes it's not coming out. So but that means I'm thinking. When I'm having a block, I'm thinking, I'm starting to perform what I think they would like to have on the
Yes.
canvas. So actually to avoid that, I now like this was in my start of commissions. I said, you get an original Eline. I'm not painting anyone's other painting, right? And if you don't like it, it's fine. You know, you don't have to pay the rest to buy it. Or I can make a new one, which often like, and I keep it. Or I keep go, and also what I often have when chaos seems absolutely chaos, I keep going over it. And I know that each layer that's underneath, like sometimes I have more than 24, 50 layers of paint on top of each other. But I know that together, although it might looks like it's covered, it's the whole story that's behind it. And it does impact what you eventually see in the front. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good. I think the point with being blocked, what you said about performance, that's a really good one. I sometimes have the opposite. If I know I need to go do something, I procrastinate. So that's something that we have to, as artists, also realize. Like if I have a commission and I know the commission isn't flowing the way that it's supposed to flow, then I become panicky and then that blocks my creativity and then I procrastinate. And then and now I've embraced my procrastination. In the past, I would like
Mm.
scandalize it, but now I actually embrace it because what it's doing for me is it pushes me into a space where it's crunch time and I have to now finish this artwork. So there's no more thinking. You just do.
Mm.
So when you place yourself in that space of tension, of stress, your creative juices start flowing because you're putting stress on yourself. It's a good way to stress. In the past, I thought, oh no, I'm procrastinating. I'm never going to do it. Now I'm embracing it. So it can be anything. I usually start new projects and I know that it's a project that I'm never going to complete. It's just pedaling, making bird cages and stuff like that. So it's really something that is not going to end up being a selling piece. So really, really good. Okay. Well, you guys have some amazing stuff for us to jump into. You guys ready?
Yeah.
Are you
Oh,
guys ready?
someone is asking on the chat about that quote. Can I quickly say it here?
Yes.
That about not thinking. So my mentor said, whatever you can think of has already been created. So create without thinking. Yeah, that was yeah.
The interesting thing about that quote is if you allow yourself not to think anymore, you step out of your prefrontal lobe. That's what speaking in tongues does to you as well.
Mm.
It
Yeah.
shuts down your rationale, your over analytical part of the brain. So if you
Mm.
stop thinking, you move into your creative brain, into your right side of your brain. And that's what you were saying, Eline, when you were saying about getting up that morning when spirit led you, or when you paint, you have this feeling, it's bliss. It's an
Mm.
euphoria. It's creating
Mm.
euphoria within us.
Ah.
And that's what we want to do is like creativity stirs up your euphoric,
Mm.
right? And
Mm.
that's why it becomes something that's addictive because
Yes.
you're
Oh my God.
allowing yourself.
I'm having a revy here. Like the Garden of Eden. That's where Adam created, right? They were
Yes.
called to create. And it's like, it's creation, guys. It's absolute ecstasy. It's
It is.
like garden of bliss. It's amazing because yeah, and you're out of that analytical. I do brain tongue sometimes or
Yeah.
painting or
Get
abstract
out
or
of your
dance.
left brain. Try and get out of your left brain. There's some really,
Mm.
the girls are going to help you guys with some of that today.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's start now.
Do it.
I'm going to share my music with you guys, and I'll give you a little, just a glimpse. You get to know everything we're doing, but you're here to, I'm here to be inspired by you and you as well, hopefully by yourself. So we're going to do a little get in touch with your breath, because I'm going to lead you through some movement and some directed movement. We're going to move from your breath, the life force of God, on that good old diaphragm, as opposed to breathing like this. I don't want to see any shoulders moving. We're going to breathe down and wide. And you're going to continue using that and thinking of anytime you move or speak or make a sound, it's going to come from your diaphragm. So you know where the diaphragm is. It's under your lungs and it's right under your heart. It's attached to your low ribs. So your diaphragm is where you want to be speaking and moving from. So if you ever feel anything tight up here, take a moment, take a breath with an extra long exhale and feel your diaphragm. So you can do as much, or you can sit down and do this if you cannot move, like your legs aren't working. I know what that's like. Sometimes I've only been able to move my arms. So I understand that, but for everybody else, you're going to move your body. So we'll start with just a few breaths to get you in touch with you instead of the screen. And then we're going to do something else, and then something else, and then something else. And then we're going to have a response, which Eline is going to lead us in, that will involve your journal or your artistic rendering, however you're painting or drawing or dancing, whatever you're going to do, as a reflection and a response to all the stuff we're going to do in the next 15 minutes. Okay, here we go. So let's breathe in this breath of life, the breath of God. Finding your feet planted on the ground, hopefully standing. If you can't stand, sit. If you can't sit, lay down. Feel the length in your spine. Feel the feet plant, wiggle those toes, press them all into the ground, and your heels. Your heels are underneath, your feet are underneath your knees are under your hips if you're standing. And just finding that breath. So we're just breathing and noticing. Am I breathing through my nose or my mouth? See if you can start breathing through your nose and then just release your breath on a sigh. Never lift your shoulders. Really let that sigh go. Give it some oomph. Don't be afraid of your own voice. You have to find the connection to your voice. One more time, nice big sigh out. Now start breathing in through the nose and humming out. You may notice that your hum lasts a little bit longer than your sigh. And really push that air out to the end. Nice big breath in and another hum out. Now finding your breath coming in and out through your nose. Don't change anything. Let your ribs expand. Shoulders stay wide. Still hum if you need to. Let that air come out without a hum and just pushing it out through the nose. Starting to find the rhythm of the breath. And then start finding the rhythm of the music. And we're going to enter this whole experience through gratitude. I like to go with scripture, the Bible. You can go however you want, but we're entering his gates with thanksgiving, his courts with praise. And then we're also going to enter the gate of Jesus Christ in John 10:9-10, where we go in and out and find pasture. We're creating a safe place for our bodies to respond and come into coherence with our heart and our brain. So pasture is a place of rest, rejuvenation, nourishment, even reinvention, revitalization. Finding that breath coming in and out through the nose, the shoulders never lifting, just the diaphragm expanding, the lungs expanding, and the air coming out like a fountain through your nose. Now we're going to use the name of God on an exhale. So as you breathe in, I'm going to say Yod Hey Vav Hey, but find a name that works for you. And what you're doing with that sound, that name, is creating like a holy bubble around yourself, because the name of the Lord is a strong tower. Yod Hey Vav Hey. Take your time breathing in, shoulders long and wide, exhaling Yod Hey Vav Hey. How low can you go? Let that resonance resonate your waters. One more. Yod Hey Vav Hey. Feel the resonance of that name all within you, all around you. Just a couple more. Bring your eyes open, find yourself standing in this dimension. We're going to start to move our whole body. We started to move the sound within. Now we're going to move the entire body, and you're going to start to dance. And you're not going to stop till I tell you. You can dance seated, you can dance standing, laying down. It's better to do it standing. Nobody's watching except for us. Keep going. Face away from the camera. It's okay. Just keep dancing. Don't stop. Keep breathing. Keep going. You got to go out of your comfort zone. Juliet, teenage dream. I felt her in my chest as she looked at me. I knew we were bound to be together, bound to be together. She took my arm. I don't know how it happened. We took the floor and she said, oh, don't you dare look back. Just keep your eyes on me. I said, you're holding back. She said, shut up and dance with me. This woman is my destiny. She said, ooh, shut up and dance with me. Okay, now find a place to stand. If you can stand, stay standing. Get your feet underneath your hips, under your knees. Feel all that energy that you just created in your body. Start to gather around your heart and your belly. Let the energy gather and gather. It's literally electricity moving through your body. Now take your gaze up just a little bit. As if you're seeing the night sky. Imagine seeing the night sky, or the clouds, or feeling the sun, or maybe you're under some tree. And now from your heart, start to move your hand up, as if you're going to touch the tree to the sky. And then bring it back down. And do that one more time. You have to move. And then come back to stillness again. Very still. And then you hear something to the sky. You reach out for it. Pull it in. Widen your stance and start pulling that in. Pull it in really strong. And then you see something on the other side. You need to pull that in. Pull it in really strong. And then push away. Push that thing away. Push things away. As if you're giving it away. You're pushing it away. Maybe it's frustrating or angry or you just want to give it away. Keep that motion going. You keep your eyes barely open. Now standing back, releasing all that pushing and pulling, you turn to the side as if you're hearing from your heart. And then you reach, walk towards that. You don't walk until your heart says you have to. And then you hear something behind you. And then you walk towards that. But you're coming from your heart. And you come back to that stillness. And you look way up again. And reach back up one more time. Bring that hand back down on the belly. And now we're going to go into just a little bit of vocalizing. So we have now energized your body and we've moved from the heart and you've then listened to my words, so you've incorporated your brain. And then from here, we're going to add your voice. So we have different resonators in the body. There's different resonators. Some are, you have your chest, your mask, and your head resonators, just for simplicity's sake. So right down here on your chest, we're going to just take a breath in, and on your low tone, sigh that breath out. And hopefully you can feel your chest resonator. If not, you're up in your throat, so go a little lower this time. Breathing in through your nose and sigh it out. Now this time you're going to hum it out. Your jaw is soft, your lips are together. And you might have noticed you're able to sigh it out a little bit, or hum it out longer. One more time with that hum. We're just going to do one more thing before we go into actual vocalizing. I like to go to promises in scripture. So if God is our strong tower, if his name is our strong tower, we're going to breathe in, and you can say anything you want. You can say mountains, water, coffee, or you can use the name of God. I'm going to use Yod He Vav He. So take that breath in, go in a nice deep belly and chest breath. As you exhale, use a name, maybe even I am, whatever you want. Say that 2 times. Go for it. Now we're going to take a breath in and out through the nose. So just breathing in and then exhaling through the nose. Your body still has all that energy in it. We're directing our sound now. So we're going to tighten the pelvic floor and the abs on our inhale. And as you inhale, think of a dropper coming, dropper squeezer coming up your spinal column into your pineal gland. You're just going to hold that breath up there. And then you're going to stretch your chin, mouth closed for just a second. And then you're going to spout that breath out like a whale, like you're spouting that energy around you. Let's do it again together. Tighten your pelvic floor and your abs. Bring the breath up. Hold it up at the top of your head. And then as if somebody's punching you in your diaphragm. One more time, breathing up. Now, if you're using your diaphragm, you shouldn't be feeling your throat. So we're going to go back to our resonators. We're just going to hang on a second. I'm going to get a little bit less sound. Hopefully you could hear me. So in your resonators, we're going to do a little exercise, and we're going to use, we're just going to say, we're going to come up that whole spinal column, if you will, and out the crown of your head, as if you're a chamber, like a church. And this is the dome right here. So you're just going to find a voice. You're not having to worry about singing. This is finding your voice supported at your diaphragm. So you take a big breath in with your shoulders down. And we're going to start at a low tone and follow your breath with your voice. Oh. Try that again. Don't try, do. Inhale. Breathe it out. Oh. Now we're going to take this on, we're going to use our breath and our intention, like when we were looking, and our motion. And we're going to say, from here, hey you, get away from my car. Do it with me, ready? A little breath in. And as you exhale, hey you, get away from my car. You can feel it in your chest. One more time. Hey you, get away from my car. Now we're going to do it from our mask resonator. So just put your pinkies right here and go right on your nose and right on the side of your nose. Like find your most annoying voice. It's all right here, not down here. It's right here. You can even smile a little bit. Perfect. So we'll do the same thing. Hey you, get away from my car. Don't feel it in your throat, feel it up here. And again, breath in. Hey, get away from my car. Last one. Hey you, get away from my car. Okay, now finding your head resonators is a little bit different. So I'm gonna have to bend over here. The easiest way I found to do that is to bend over as if all the sound is gonna end up right here on the top of your head. And you just go real high. I'm just saying, hey, but with a lot of force from my diaphragm on the top of my head. So I'm gonna tap my head. Now that you found that, There's the first 3 weeks of acting class. Then you're going to go. Take a breath in.
Salina, your voice is so high, the mic is not even picking it up.
Yeah, because I have to have musicians sound on.
Yeah.
But then that something doesn't work, I guess. So I tried to turn that off earlier. Okay, so now you have found your voice. You have found the energy in your body, the connection of your heart, and then your brain. So now we're going to do just a little bit of breath work. So you can be seated. You can also lie down. How's everybody doing so far? Okay. All right. Having fun? Acting class is fun.
So much fun.
Okay. So with this, you're going to breathe in through the mouth only. So we've been breathing through the nose, pushing our sound out through our diaphragm. This is not something you normally do. We're going to oxygenate your body, and we're going to go into a state of transient hypofrontality, which means this will be quiet. The beta brain will quiet down, and this will light up. And from there, we're going to go into our creative space. Okay. At the end of this breath work, we're going to do a primal scream. That's why you have a pillow. You don't have to use the pillow. It's more fun if you don't. But if there are people near you that you don't want to, I've already warned the house where I'm staying. The reason we're going to do that is from this place of breathing strong. So start to breathe now. Just close your mouth, soften your jaw, or open your mouth, but keep your jaw soft as opposed to, or don't go there yet. You could eventually. If you're pregnant, you're just going to stay very mellow. I'm going to push you in the breath, but if you're pregnant or you have super high or low blood pressure or a heart issue, just stay mellow. Don't let me push you. Everyone else, I push you. So we're sitting tall or laying down and breathing. Laying down is fine, but be in your body now. We're starting to breathe. Just in and out through the mouth. I'm going to guide you. Be not afraid. We must find our voices. So here we are, finding our voices. I'm going to give you a little louder music because it'll help you. Tell me when you can hear me and hear the music. Can you hear the music? Can you hear me? Music up or down, Tanya? Down a little. So we're breathing now. We're breathing in and better. Is that better? Okay. We're breathing in and out through the mouth. You can close your eyes and just be. You can look wherever you need to look. Now remember, I brought us through the gate of Christ. So if you get some weird stuff happening, it's from heaven. Okay? Don't judge, just do. Don't think, just be. So we're pulling our breath in and just letting it fall out. Pulling the breath in, keeping the shoulders as tiny as they can move. And you're thinking of filling up your belly and then your chest. And then you just let it fall out like a fountain. So it might look like this. We're breathing very strong, very much on purpose for 2 whole minutes. Pull that breath in. Pull the air in. You're filling your body with more oxygen than you need because you're going to push things out with that oxygen. You will release toxins from your body, and you will release toxins from the body and from the emotions. So let it happen. Be not afraid. You are in a safe place. Breathe like you mean it. Breathe like your life counts on it. This is your medicine that we're unlocking in your own body right now. Lean into it. Lean into the discomfort. Your brain is going to want to go into transient hyperventilation very quickly because you're normally not breathing very much. Don't let it go yet. Hold on to it. Wait till after the scream. So we're breathing as strong, as powerful as you can. Make your diaphragm work. charge. This is you taking charge of your nervous system. We're getting ready for a breath hold. So take these big last breaths, really strong. We're toggling into parasympathetic nervous system mode on your command, and that's where you build resilience. Big breath in, 3, 2, 1. Hold that breath. Relax your shoulders, hold that breath, squeeze what you need to squeeze. Getting ready for our scream in 3, 2, 1. Wah! Close your eyes. If you need to cry, almost falling asleep, fight. Feel the sensations in your body. You are enough. Everything you need is within you. You are connected to your cloud of witnesses, shall we say, and the spirit of the Trinity, Father, Son, the myriad of angels. They all live in you, and you breathe them in. And as you breathe right now, fully inflate those lungs and let that air just come out slowly through. Breathe in, you're breathing in the breath of God, the breath of life. And as you exhale, you're giving life back to all of creation around you. And make the Trinity smile. Now, Eline is going to lead us from this place to respond and create.
Wow. I can sit here forever, Salina.
That's called bliss euphoria.
Wow. So I think it's a beautiful space now to start creating with no thoughts. Everything has been emptied out. Salina, thank you. So whatever you brought, just start free flowing on your paper, on your canvas, or whatever it is. And when I was breathing, I realized I do not want any of you to show what you have made. This is just for you, within you. There's no performance. You don't have to show anyone. Just create and see what it does and be completely free without thinking about later or before. Just move. And we're going to play a nice song while doing that. Enjoy.
Volume okay, Eline? Tanya?
for me, this was different, Salina. Thank you for doing. That was awesome. Your little, not little, massive workshop you did there in such a little time. I was just dancing and moving and like working more with my breath. It was amazing.
Mhm.
Yeah. How did everyone feel? Does anyone want to comment how they feel
Or
or
have any
experience it?
questions? If you guys have any questions, you guys can post some questions in the
Or
chat.
if you still want to paint, it's allowed. I want to still
Yeah.
paint.
Barb, if you have a question, you can unmute and ask.
So doing all this, it's really hard for me because of the definitions I've been given. And so during the dance time, I actually closed the blinds in the living room because I didn't want anybody to see me. But I felt really free. But the questions came to me doing the art part. I got a book of paper and some colored pencils and I just colored with my eyes closed. And the questions that came to me are, what is chaos and what is order? Or what have I put in a box as chaos and order? And then what is emotion and what is reason and why are they different? Why the judgments? It's just a judgment of growing up with chaos is bad, order is good. And so I've never drawn or painted anything. I got some criticism very young in life. And so I'm like, I'm not creative. I can't do that. Give me a ruler. I can draw blueprints. I can do that. And so taking that off of me, and then also, why is emotion contrary to reason? It's not. Emotions are good. I was taught emotions were bad and all of that. But so for me, it's like all these questions that I'm going to pursue now about the judgments that I had about creativity, art, drawing, painting, dancing, whatever the it is that enters my mind. I'm freedom. It's being freedom.
Wow.
So
Thank
thank you
you.
very much.
Thank you. That's awesome. Keep dancing. Maybe one day you'll have those curtains open. I know how you feel, sweetheart. I know how you feel. And trust me, sometimes even at WOW, I want to be there but I keep my eyes closed because I don't want to see myself dancing on the screen. And but no, keep doing it and keep paying yeah, I think these are physical practices to take you further out of the conditioning you've been in. Yeah. Bless you. Awesome. Thank you for sharing that. Really.
I just wanted to say that the dancing part, I love dancing and just to be freely expressive. It was just something that was just like a breath of fresh air. It was a release, and then coupling music like that and being able to just create anything. It didn't have to look like anything. That I just thank you. Thank you for both of you putting those together. Beautiful.
So good. Thank you, Marilyn. And
Hi, I'd like to thank you so much to Salina and Eline and Tanya. And the breath work and the dancing was wonderful. But what happened afterwards kind of surprised me. I mean, I knew I was shut down. That's why I'm here. I really appreciate, the opening, and it feels like there's a different stage and you're helping me to move into it. So when I got my paper and my safe paper and pen and writer, very safe, okay, yeah. So I thought, okay, I'll get those, but I didn't write. I started to draw, and I drew very hard. I drew a very hard heart with the father's heart round it, and then I went back and I was softening the lines, between it.
Wow.
And so thank you.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Oh, that went straight into my heart when you
Mine
said
too.
that.
Oh wow. Thank you, and love you so much.
Thank you. Love you too, Tanya. Thank you.
Oh gosh.
Very special conference. Wow. Yeah.
Oh,
Oh my
thank you.
gosh.
Thank you for sharing that. It's very
Wow.
vulnerable.
Yeah.
How amazing is freedom, right? You created for freedom.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
like, I don't know how it's going to give form, but I would love to lead people through create. Maybe Salina and I should work together and do these workshops together and lead people in that
Yeah.
fear. Or like, it's basically tree of life, right? Like you don't eat from the tree of knowledge. There's no right or wrong. There's no good or bad. There is just be. There's I am, and you are. And through this, we can become in our fullest expression.
Yeah.
Right.
Hey, Jamie.
I brought our beautiful Jamie on to be a part of this because I think this is the right time to share this with you guys. Remember the little surprise, right, that we spoke about? Yeah, we all like, because
We're all wearing black, by the way.
we all talk about synchronicity. Black, by the way, means strength. Let me just say that real quick. Prophetic, we're reframing it right now. Black represents strength because in the natural realm, you have to use all color to create
Yeah.
black. So by adding all color, you're bringing in every aspect of color in the realm. So we just reframe that real quick. Okay. So I don't know why I had to say that, but I just did. Okay, guys. So I'm going to share my screen real quick. Let me see if I actually open it. Because we have this amazing thing that's going to happen. Because I know some of you, you've asked me privately, like, is there more? Like, are you guys going to do this more? And yes, we are. Oh my goodness. You know, when you have something and then all of a sudden you
It's
don't?
gone.
Yeah. I
Okay, so here we go. I'm going to share this with you guys. Can you guys see that? Okay. Passions, fears, arts, and culture. We are starting a online once a month, starting September the 9th. We're starting this Passions, Fear, Arts, and Culture group where we're bringing all kinds of spheres of artistic expression and culture to the Zoom. It's connected with wildlife, but this is all about how do we as creatives not only inspire ourselves in creativity, but make a difference in our realm, in our community? How can we, like, even all of us, we want to help you guys, but at the same time, you have something that your community needs. So we want to facilitate that in this once a month online connection. Will probably be the first Monday of every month, right, Jamie? I think that's what we said. Yeah. Yeah. First Monday, second Monday, first Monday.
I'm checking. It is the second Monday.
Okay, second Monday, thank you. Second Monday, I will give you guys more information. So keep checking your emails. But if you want to sign up, I'm going to drop the link in the chat if you guys want to sign up. And also, I'm going to stop sharing that. Drop this in the link. Also, keep checking your email. So I will give you guys more information about that. Jamie, do you want to share anything about it?
Well, you did a great job introducing it, so thank you. Just want to say that arts and culture is the very first passion sphere that we've launched. And I just want to say a big congratulations to these ladies, because this little group right here has been the core in getting that off the ground. And so shout out to all their hard work and heart that they've put into it. And for helping out, because they're not just helping with the arts and culture. We have many other spheres to launch as well, and some of them are beginning in those works. So if you know of anyone who wants to help do a team lead, which is pretty well get things off the ground, be part of organizing and managing the larger sphere in areas such as business and finance, health and wellness, education. I've got 9 spheres. So we've got arts. We have agriculture. We have, Tanya, do you have that list in front of you by chance or no?
Government.
Government. There's probably 2 more maybe.
Let me grab it.
Community.
Humanitarianism is one of them. So there's 9. We'll get that list out as well. But basically, in any area of life that you can think of, if you feel like you want to lead or know someone who'd be good to help lead, reach out and we can help find you a sphere that would love to have you as a team lead.
Yeah. Okay, so we have business and finance, arts and culture, humanitarian and animal welfare, health, wellness and spirituality, sports, media and entertainment, government, agriculture, education, science and technology. So these groups are mainly for us to get together and also network together. Like we can use the science in the art. We can use the business in the arts. So this is all about connecting each other and how can we, Christ beings, light beings, bring solutions and help others come into their identity and come into their fullness. Because we carry something and you carry something and we want to bring all of that together. Thank you for joining us on this 3-day phenomenal creative explosion. Yesterday we had soup, today we had explosion. Okay. So thank you, everybody. Thank you to all the speakers. Thank you for being here.